Father, one in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou amongst women, blessed fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Eternal rest be unto him, O Lord. May his soul rest in peace. May the soul of the faithful departed to the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen. Come on, kids, come on and sit down at the table, huh, please? You know, people would say, well, how do you raise a big family and how do you do it? And I always, thank God for what we had. I always thought we had a certain charm that, even though I didn't have any riches and maybe wealth, material wealth, I had the family. That was, like in Italian, what we say, flesh and blood is the greatest thing to have. So when you lose a bit of it, you lose a part of yourself.
Hey, Grace. Bless the Lord, these I guess we got to see in the bounce of Christ all the way in there.
Being of our religion, being Catholic, I mean, death, we can accept death if it comes the way we think it should come, but not violently like this, 10,000 miles away.
You got any cheese?
And nights, sometimes you look at television, you see a war picture, and you picture your son over there. It's hard to believe that he was just killed. That they're going to send us details later on. The only thing that could comfort you is just the beautiful memories you have. 20 years of this life that God gave you. The day he came home from boot camp, it was one of the most happiest days to see him come and get out of the car with a smile. You can't show how much you love a person. You have to feel it. The tears that flow. I had to hide behind my husband, so I'm like, nobody will see me cry.
Mommy, did I bring enough cheese?
Yes.
I think a lot in the past. My wife thinks a lot in the past. And the kids mention many things around the house that remind them of Carmine.
Thank you. Sit where Carmine used to sit, please.
Where were you? Say, Grace.
Angie took it real hard because, like his brother, he plays in the band, you know, he sings in the band. He went to work the next day. He just wanted, I guess, to take it off his mind.
I was really out of my head when it happened. I guess it did happen and he is dead. It's hard to explain. But I guess, you know, I felt like killing myself, doing a whole bunch of stuff, but it was only going to hurt my parents more than they were hurt. And didn't want that to happen because I didn't know how they'd feel. But like, I just didn't care about myself. But then when I thought about it, I figured my parents, you know, my brothers and sisters, how I felt about Carmine, they're going to feel about me. I didn't want that to happen, so that idea was just out. And I was always, when I was small, I always used to play guns and everything like that. I used to have about 10 guys, used to play army, hide in the bushes and stuff like that. And now, I guess, you know, you look back and see how you used to fool around. And it's nothing to fool around with. So, it's just strange.
I had 10 fingers and I lost one of them. Every time I look at my hands, I'll miss one of them. It had a purpose on my hand. And that's why I used to look at my son. He had a purpose. It's very hard to shoot for anything anymore. You're lucky maybe you live to see your retirement. Of course, on the route now, I think a lot of Carmine. I have to. It just comes into my mind whenever I see anything that I can associate a boy with. It's just a natural thing. You just can't say, well, you forget about it. You see a kid going to school, you see a little kid, like I see a lot of little children going to school, and I think of my boy when he was going to school, and there's 1,000 moments that will bring back a picture of what you did with your boy, you know? You have a specter of fear about you continually. I know I do. My wife does. And when my kids, I think they do too, because there were 11 of us, and when we found out, one by one, we told them about the death of Carmine. Well, you want to see people climb a wall. Mr. Nixon and Mr. Johnson ought to come to some people's houses and just sit around a while when there's a death like this in a family, and maybe they'll sort of get a different aspect of what's going on. Because I certainly think that between Johnson and Nixon, these two presidents, one of them should have ended this thing. Of course, it was Johnson's tragedy, but Nixon doesn't seem to be doing too much with it. Toby, come on, boy. Come on. Sit over here. You're a good boy, huh? Get up, get up, get up. Sit down. Yeah, Carmine used to be able to walk him around without a leash. He used to follow him all over. Come here. Come on. Come here, boy.
This is the church Carmine made his first Holy Communion. He made his confirmation. And he graduated from this church because they make their graduation from this church. And he was 4 years in choir, and he loved to sing. And I'll always remember him singing up there in his choir outfit with a big red bow in front of his face. He looked so cute. And he started to sing with a band, and he kept on singing. until they drafted him into the service. And then he went away to boot camp. He was at boot camp, looks like if he was there for years, but he was only about 6 months. He came home for 21 days. And we spent time together, and he wanted always to be with his friends, and I understood that. He loved his friends. And the day he left, well, we were all heartbroken. We miss him very much, and we still love him. We'll never forget him. He wrote to me that he had a little pet, a little mongoose, that used to sleep on his stomach at night. And the little pet got sick, and he couldn't get any shots for it, so he had to take it out and shoot him. And it's not like him to do any harm to any animal. Imagine him with a gun to kill somebody. It isn't right that they should send young boys like that to Vietnam to shoot people. It's not right. The war has gone 6 years, and the last 6 years more, and I know my little boys will go. One is 7 and one is 12. They'll probably be going too if it doesn't end soon. And my boy 18, he's going to be 18 next month, and he's going to register for the draft. And then he said he was going to go and do what Carmine did. But we don't want him to, because we feel that we lost one, we don't want to lose another. Oh, if I could only bring him back, so people could see what a fine boy he was. Mothers will pray for their son always to come home safe and sound. Like I pray for my son. Maybe I didn't pray hard enough, but I know I did. Sincerely, thinking of him each time I sat here, seeing boys come in with long hair, and picturing him coming down the aisle. Like one day I saw a young boy. I said, he must have just got home from the service. And he had 2 little girls and a boy, and they were clinging to him as if they didn't want to let him go. And I just looked at him and tears came running down, just thinking of my boy. And that's what happens when I'm walking in the streets. I see a young boy, and I picture my son. So he'll always be around, no matter where I look, no matter where I go, he'll always be with me.
This is a song in memory of Philip Gibbs. This is an anthem that was one of his favorites, and we will attempt to sing it for you, Beautiful Savior, followed by a gospel number led by one of his classmates.
The wills I approaching the fence, where behind lie all the blacks. As we leave the whites, the pavement ends and gravel starts. This is the grave where my brother is lying. I received a phone call one Friday morning about 4 o'clock saying that my brother had been shot at Jackson State College. Since what happened, we've all just been in a state where sometimes you just don't feel like going on. You feel like, say, well, what's the use? We might as well stop here. But we're not going to stop. We're going to go as long as we can. We're going to go and we're going to keep going. The part I can't really understand is why would the Highway Patrol or National Guard or the ones that were doing the shooting shoot in a girls' dormitory. Alexander Hall is a girls' dormitory. There's Stewart Hall, the new men's dorm, which they marched up the street from then to the girls' dormitory, shooting in the girls' dormitory. They said sniper fire. Well, if there was sniper fire coming from Ayers Hall, which is across the street, why not shoot at Ayers Hall? But I don't believe there was sniper fire. That's just an alibi to get by, but they won't. They might not be punished this year or next year, but they'll be punished. Because Philip has a son, maybe another son or a daughter, we don't know. But they're coming. I hope they'll live to go to Jackson. Go to Jackson State where he was going and remember what happened. I don't want this world to ever forget. As long as I live, and I'm sure my brother and sister and his wife, as long as they live, we'll never forget it. And there are people here that won't forget it. They look at us now, they say, oh, that's the Gibbs family. They know, but they just look at us as the Gibbs family, not people. They look at us and say, oh, yeah, her brother got killed down there in Jackson State. I remember him. But they don't understand why. And they don't understand the price that was paid and what a loss we had at that time. I've been back in Ripley now. It's going on 9 years. But it might be 9 or 10 or maybe 50 or 100 more. But things will get right. This fence will be tore down. This graveyard will be mixed. It will be black and white. I hope this world, this whole world can see this red clay lying here and what's under it and what a price we had to pay for it and what a price America will pay before it's over. Alabama's bad, Arkansas is bad, but Mississippi will get better. And Philip Gibbs is one of the first head starts for it. You'll see that someday. You will.
His sisters and brothers had so much courage. They had just lost their mother and father. I knew him as a baby and as a grown man. Sometimes he would call me old man, and sometimes he would say pops and so forth, and yet I understood this because I found out that he was a lover of music, and of course I am too. In getting ready for a special program one time, I got a group of young men, well, they were boys then, to sing with me. We were going to present a program in Tupelo, Mississippi, and it just struck him about us, an anthem that we had been singing in church, and he wanted us to learn that song. This anthem is Beautiful Savior by Christensen. And the week before he got killed, he was at home for the weekend, and he came to my house, and said, Mr. Spike, let's sing Beautiful Savior. I said, well, son, we can't sing it just two people because it is an anthem. It's a 4-part song. He said, well, we can sing it anyway. And we attempted to sing Beautiful Savior. This was his favorite song, I thought, and I know it is. And from liking a song like this, it just told me that he was a lover of music.
I met Philip, let me see, it was about in '62, the first year he got here. I don't know what I thought of him. He was just, I mean, girls was all after him, and I didn't want to be like that, so I wouldn't say much to him. And well, in '68, we got married, and in '69, our son was born. The night they told me about Philip, I put on a red sweater even though it was hot. I mean, I don't know why I put it on. It's just something to do, I guess. I mean, then I even went to bed with the sweater on. I put the sweater on. I got in bed with my mother. I took my baby in there. I put him in bed with my mother. I still couldn't believe it was Philip. I mean, I wasn't wishing any bad luck on anybody else, but I just couldn't believe it was Philip. I mean, of all the people there, why pick Philip? I mean, I didn't want to, I don't know, I just didn't want to wish anything on anybody else, but I just couldn't believe it. And then when I saw him, I knew it. And then sometime I think, what will I tell his son, Philip? I mean, this other baby I'm carrying. I mean, he didn't know at the time that I was going to have a baby. I didn't need it, sort of slipped up on me. And I don't know what I'd tell them when I don't even know myself what to do. I mean, I don't understand myself. But maybe when they get old enough, by the time they get old enough to ask a few questions, things might be straightened out a little, and I can understand them a little better to explain them to my kids. Because I don't know what I'd tell them now if he'd ask. I just don't know. Because sometimes I look at him, he looks a lot like his father, and sometimes I look at him and he does things like him and laugh like him, and I mean, sometimes I just want to run away. I thought I could kill myself at one time after Philip got killed, but I said I couldn't leave my kids. And then things are getting a little better, but I don't know. I still think about Philip every hour of the day, and I dream about him every night. Some bad dreams, some good ones. And I still laugh. That was better than I did at first. I couldn't even laugh at first without cracking up. But now I'm a little better. I'm a lot better on the outside. I just say it like that. People think I'm doing better, but on the inside, I just can't hardly take it sometimes. I just don't know. Maybe I took it harder than the rest of the people, because I'm not used to it. Like Noreen said, she was so used to it that the funeral home seemed like a home to her now. She's been up there so many times. But I haven't. And it was so hard for me to go up there and pick out a casket and tell how he was killed, and I just don't know. They had to pull me into the room. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but I did.
Phil was the only full brother that I had. We were pretty close. We should talk about what society was like here. What all you have to do just to be respected. All you have to do is get married, had some kids, joined church, buy Girl Scout cookies, and get along with the white people, and you respect them. Philip, he wanted to make more out of life than that. What happened to Philip, that could happen to anybody's son or brother or nephew, anything. And I just want everybody to know that we won't forget about this. And people around here, it seems as though they try to forget or they won't say anything. But I know every time they see me, they have to think about my brother. I don't really hate. I guess to a degree I do, but I don't just really hate. I mostly just feel disgusted. They went back down to Jackson and I mean they fixed it all up, you know, where they were shooting and all of that. They did that right away. So people wouldn't realize. But all this happened, all this is real. I don't want no one to forget it. Most of these houses were built back in the 30s and 20s and things, you know. All the plumbing is outside. A man that owned the plane or sawmill, he built these houses for his workers, you know. I mean, he gave you a break, he gave you a place to live, you know, you and your family.
People down here pay from $10, $15 a month rent.
I mean, these were the people that, you know, Philip associated with.
Most people down here never want to leave because this is the only thing they know. Just these houses and...
We moved into this home in July of 1969. We came up from, we'd been living in Silver Spring, Maryland. Allison had graduated from John F. Kennedy High School. And so when we came up here, Allison had some friends who she kept on corresponding with in the Pittsburgh area, and she got in touch with them, and also she immediately wanted to go to work to get money for her coming college period at Kent State. And that's where she spent her junior high years. We used to bring her up here to dances. They had these preteen dances and so forth. I know she enjoyed her period here. Allison worked over here. And I'd holler, "Here comes Allison," and Elby would go into ecstasy and start barking, and she'd know immediately where to go, which car to come to, because Elby was a pretty good announcer of our arrival, or of her arrival. And she'd come bouncing out there with her long hair flying and just happy as a lark and tell me about her successes of that day. And this is where I'd pick her up, right over here at this entrance right here. And everybody be there to pick up their kids and so forth. And I only wish we could do it again. over here too often. But it's a lonely place, but it's a pretty place. That first marker is where Allison is buried. So, (1951) 1970. Like a lot of people said, good riddance, huh? She was a good girl. She cared about people. She didn't like war. And I guess she cussed. Is that a reason for killing her? Some people think it is. She helped people. Those people that are saying that she's no good, what help are they doing except hating? She loved. It was a lot different last May. It was sunny then. And I made some irrational statements. I asked if dissent was a crime. And I went and cried then. And I cry now. I cry and hope and pray no other parent or no other child. But I was said that she was, some people said to me she wasn't a child. Well, she was my child. And bullets took her away because she was out there hollering at the brave National Guard. You butchers! You brave boys. You aimed at them. You aimed at their knees. You said you did. You can't even shoot straight. If you aimed at her knee, maybe when her leg would have been taken off. I read what the FBI said. Well, I'm going to keep after you boys. And through legal methods, not with guns. And you, Mr. Canterbury, and you, Mr. Rhodes, and you, Mr. Del Corso. God have mercy on your souls. Because I don't have any mercy on you. What did my daughter do to deserve to be killed? Did she deserve that, to be out here? Why have we had to go through this horror? Because you people didn't know how to control. You didn't know how to lead. You didn't know how to manage. All you do is call names of these kids, but you don't swear. You just cut them up with guns.
Yeah, she keeps her eyes on the camera the whole
Lori
time.
must have been 5 years old then.
Yeah, that was a picnic.
She's trying.
That's Lori. With
No,
her.
it's Allison.
Allison and Lloyd.
Who knows? She...
Oh,
there
there
she
she
is.
is. She got her
Another birthday party.
She got her hair cut, and I was so unhappy about that. But there she is, a very prim young miss. Now,
I think she looks cute. Yes.
the little lady.
Very just
Remember, Allison? Remember the statement she made when we lit our first fire in that house? We had some popcorn. She said, and we rolled the television set into the living room. And Allison said, "Daddy, this is just back in Abraham Lincoln's time."
I said that.
Oh, let's give credit to who? To Lori?
I said, this is just like George Washington, as a matter of fact. Oh, well, we got that story straight after all these years.
Oh, look at them.
The thing about death that you can't discuss is what happens after it. Because there's no way to find out, ever.
Remember the mulberry tree back here?
I can't believe that when someone's shot and at 19 and wanting to live so much, that they're dead right there, you know? When a person commits suicide, it means they want to be dead. But when a person is shot down, they have this want to live. And I think that's why Allison is around me, because she wanted to live. And I think she wants to get back to life. When I heard that my sister was dead, I screamed. And I guess I screamed because it's like what most people do when they find out that someone's dead. But it really, as the days went on afterwards, it didn't affect me that she was dead. I couldn't rationalize that she was dead. There was nothing around us that would tell me that she was dead until 2 days later, when the casket was open. I saw her laying there, but it wasn't her, because they had makeup on her, and she was wearing this frilly dress, and it just wasn't like her. And, well, I wanted my parents, after I saw her in that dress, with all that makeup, I told them to shut the casket immediately, because it wasn't her that was in there. It was an image that someone put on her, she never wore makeup, and she never wore really frilly dresses, she never felt really, free in them. So she would wear jeans, and I don't know why I would feel better if she were buried in jeans, because it was more like her personality and more like her.
The dress she wore to her first prom. One of her first really grown-up dresses. That was for a New Year's Eve day. I just don't know what to do with them. I know perhaps somebody could use them and make good use of them, and I'll just make the decision sometime to give them to somebody who can put them to good use, but I can't seem to do it yet. She must have been about 10, trying to look nonchalant. Here she is at her birthday party. I think she must have been 9. This is a very recent picture of Allison, very typical picture of Allison. This was taken in June of ¡69, and the friend who took the picture brought it to us the day of her funeral. And here are some of the telegrams that came. One that came meant a great deal to us. It said, "Please accept our condolences and those of the entire staff of the Connecticut State Department of Mental Health in the tragic loss of your family, to your family as a result of events at Kent State University on May 4th. Those qualities of sensitivity, of perceptiveness, which were exhibited by Allison, result in her acceptance as a member of the 1970 Connecticut Service Corps. We regret that she will not have the opportunity to fulfill the potential she exhibited, and we share her loss with you. Ernest A. Shepard, Acting Commissioner, and John Warburton, Service Corps Director. She had applied for summer work with the Service Corps in Connecticut, but I don't know whether she ever knew that she had been accepted. Here is a small percentage of the letters that we received, letters from people who didn't feel they had to identify themselves, or perhaps didn't have the courage to identify themselves, but they felt that they had to let us know that they didn't approve of our daughter or of us. This is one that came in August, and it says, Dear Mr. Krause, as the wife of a National Guardsman, I am outraged at people like you who obviously feel they are free to kill other people and feel also that they are above the law. Your daughter was a hippie, a cheap slut, and a potential killer herself. She got what she deserved. It's signed this one is signed Betty Miller, no return address. And I don't quite understand what she means in this letter. We never have felt free to kill anyone. How can somebody take another life? Does it make it easier when they're wearing a uniform? She was 300 feet away from the men who shot her. I don't think she represented any threat to them. The guns they used were guns that could only do extensive damage, and now I understand that they're going to an automatic gun of the same caliber for use in riot control.
Please do not set date of funeral until port authorities notify you date and schedule time of arrival, destination. Disposition Branch Memorial Division, Department of the Army. The next one was... Please do not set date of funeral until port authorities notify you and funeral director date and schedule time of arrival, destination. Disposition Branch Memorial Division, Department of the Army. Remains of PFC Carmine, Macedonia, depart Dover Air Force Base, Delaware, 9 a.m., 13th December, via Hearst to Wiegand Brothers, Incorporated, notified. Weren't there two telegrams that said... Oh, we got the first one was, someone said a mine, that's right. The lieutenant told us it was a mine. Then they said a booby trap, and then the personnel carrier was in
What's Carmine saying in the letter that he wrote you?
Here, it says, don't worry about me, I'm all right and doing fine. Are you doing good in school? I hope so. I wouldn't want to see you get drafted. Only kidding. How's Steve and all the kids at Gus's? How's all your boyfriends? I'm fine. Everything is all right here, and I miss you, everyone else. Your letters make me very happy, and keep writing. I'll try to answer all of them. It's pretty warm, and there's air, and the air is clean down here. I hear it's snowing still up there. Say hello to everybody from me, and I'll be writing you. Love, Mace. Peace and love to you, Bernard. I'm still a hippie deep down inside, and will never change. That's what he wrote. Deep down inside, he's always a hippie. And it says, right. And on here, we put Mary, my twin, and Bernard, my sweet, in peace.
Dear family, arrived in Vietnam the 6th day of August. Didn't know what to expect when I arrived, but it seems my views about the war and people will change come the future. They took us from the airport to a replacement center in Long Bien. Finally, after going through processing, we shipped to a combat center in Chu Lai, where we encountered rats and cockroaches. Very bad. Tomorrow I'll be going up on Hawk Hill to my company, C Company 1st Platoon, where I'll be working with Sheridan tanks, 152 millimeters. The boys here have been telling a lot of stories about what happens to them out in the field. The most trouble they have is with the mines. Warfare here has turned almost completely mechanical. Most of the Geneva Convention laws are abused. They said I might get to see some action, but then again I might not. The monsoon rains, which last for 6 months, are coming. This is when the Viet Cong retreat to the mountains, no sweat. They say there's no war here, but just deep in the mountains. The Army is just trying to stop, not destroy the bad guys, but they're using every type of gimmick they can come up with. Be writing tomorrow. Love yours and miss you. Love Mace. P.S. Mom, I say that prayer most of the time in the morning, if not the afternoon. Time goes fast around here. See you in a year.
Oh, at the request of Jackson Mayor Russell Davis.
Hey! Stay behind the tank. I can't get the cartridge locked.
Damn, we need that light.
That night, he was shot. I was looking out my window. One of the boys told me that he was coming down from the walk, or either he was out here in the crowd, and that when they shot him the first time, he just threw his hands up just like for surrender, like, you know, don't shoot anymore. And still, I don't know if they had the killing fever, or were they itching to get some blood, or what. They just went and shot him again, you know, make sure. Well, I know I'm gonna get him, at least one of them. I believe that's what they were thinking when they shot it. And so the ambulance, it came and picked him up, and they carried him to the University Hospital. And that next morning, I went out there and I seen him. The nurse, she carried me downstairs, and they had a sheet lying over his body. And when she uncovered it, I was just standing there with fear, you know, just seeing him lying there with blood all over his face. It was all in his hair. It was all in his chest, just bloody. And from then on, I just started thinking about it, you know, just thinking about, well, my brother's gone. I know he won't be back. I've been through this, and I've been through a lot more. I know this won't be the last time it's going to happen. My brother, he was an everyday guy going to school here at Jackson State. The people here, I don't know. I don't know what to think about them. Have they forgotten something this easily? A person's life was taken here? Have they forgotten it? They walk around here just as happy and gay as ever, act like nothing happened. I bet you can't ask at least one person off this yard who got killed here at Jackson State. No, I don't know. I just heard it was some dude got killed. They don't know. They're not concerned. I want us to come together and push forward for our race to be stronger, for the black race. Because I know this will happen again. But the next time it happens, I want us to be ready. Ready to do something about it, to carry it to court, to carry it to the highest court it is. Or if we can't carry it to court, we might have to handle it in other ways. That's all it is. Just pinpoint the person and just get them up and give them a job. That's all you're going to have to do. Just an everyday fellow going, attending Jackson State. That's the very reason I came to Jackson State, because he was here. I know nothing about Jackson State College. I came here because my brother was here. Well, I said, well, maybe if this school was good for him, it might be good for me. And you can see what happened.
dream house. They've really been wanting this house for a very long time. They've been they stayed sharecroppers for the white man for about, 26 years. And ever since I was born, this is all they have talked about, a house that I never thought they'd get, but I guess their dream, a part of their dream came true. Of course it's not paid for or anything, but part of their dream came true. And since my husband was killed at Jackson State, they were good enough to build a room on for me, and I think this is where I spend most of my time. But I had large dreams. Of course, we knew at the time that they were only dreams. We dreamed of, of a large house ourselves. Of course, Philip said we'd have a large ranch house and about 6 children. Of course, we have 1/3 of that. And he wanted all of them to be boys, except one, and he wanted a basketball team. And we used to laugh about it a lot. I think some of the best memories I have of Philip were when he was in school and I stayed in Jackson with him. He used to come in during class breaks, and we'd talk about different things that he wanted, about the ranch house and about the basketball team. And we'd eat popcorn, because I wasn't a very good cook, and he just made do with what we had. And we'd laugh. I mean, those were great days. We were very poor, but I think we were just as rich as anybody, really, because we were happy. And it just seemed funny that he's not around to talk about what we wanted anymore. I remember one dream I had of Philip. I dream of him every night, and I think of him mostly all the time. And it was about him getting shot. It wasn't at Jackson State or anything like that. It was just him getting shot. I think it had something to do with me just thinking about him all day. He was at this fence, and this hunter, he was behind Philip. And the hunter drew his gun, and he aimed, and he shot Philip. And I mean, it really seemed so real, and I could see a little blood stream come down the side of his face. I just started screaming. I don't know if I was actually screaming or if I was just screaming in the dream. The dream, it really got to me. I don't know. It really scared me because when I woke up, I was breathing hard, and I was just really frightened. And it just really shook me up. So I grabbed the baby, and I don't know. My baby slept with me because of Philip. They used to tell me that, don't let my baby get cold. Let him sleep with you when I'm not here. And since Philip been gone, he's been sleeping with me. I just can't put him in his bed. He has a bed, but I just can't put him in his bed. I don't know why. And I don't know what I'll do when the other baby comes. I know I can't let them both sleep with me. Maybe by then I can let man sleep some other place, let the other baby, because I don't think Joe would want man to sleep by himself, because he was so set against him sleeping by himself. He said he'd get cold, he'd kick the cover off of him, so just let him sleep with me. And I've been doing that since.
Don't stand it up, running away. Allison was shot from behind. Actually, the bullet entered in his side. And I didn't know that she was shot. She was shot. In the midst of the fire, we dove behind the car. And I sort of just, I didn't think anything was wrong, but I just sort of reactionary said, "Is everything okay? You okay?" And she just sort of rolled over on her back and she looked at me. She said, "Barry, I'm hit." And I saw a smudge of blood on her face. And I looked over her body and I didn't see any blood, you know. But I looked back and I saw that that smudge on her face was blood. So it wasn't blanks, it was bullets. And it wasn't any more circus now, it was a war. And then I lifted my hand out and there was blood on my hand. My hand had been under her side. And I sort of rolled her over a little. And I just saw like her jacket was saturated, a nice big circle, like, dripping with brown, warm blood, dripping with life. And she said, "Barry, I'm hit." And after she said it the second time, she went into shock. And like her eyes just opened wide and she stared off into the sky, lying on her back. And sort of her mouth made an O and she started to gasp for air. She couldn't breathe. And it happened in a split second. I mean, I was down on my knees and then a second later, I was cradling her head and she was gasping for air and there was blood dripping down on my pants and my shoes and her face started to lose color. And I started turning white and little bubbles started coming in her mouth. And it was open, gasping and sort of like foaming in her mouth because it was sort of dry. It was drying up. And she's just staring, like just staring, you know, and I tried to like lean over and look into her eyes and she looked like right through me. And she was no longer there. Not the person that I had known. It was just sort of a body dying. You know, it wasn't Allison. It was a body decaying, dying. And I waited there for what seemed a long time for the ambulance, sort of just stroking her cheek and hoping that maybe she could feel. I couldn't, I just didn't know what it was like. I tried to do whatever I could. And then it seemed like she was stopping breathing. And I gave her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, and she started breathing right away. And people were yelling at me to watch her tongue, because she might swallow her tongue. And so I said to her, you know, I put my finger in her mouth and I made sure her tongue was still in her mouth. Watch your tongue. Watch your tongue. And right after I said it, her tongue like feebly moved forward. Like, you know, and she knew it, and she'd watch it, and she wouldn't swallow it because she knew. And I just sort of, people kept screaming, "Watch your tongue," and I just looked up and I said, "Man, it's okay, man." And it seemed like it was all right, you know. She was still there in a way. It wasn't just her body then, because I was talking to her and she was reacting, but she was still dying. And then the ambulance came, and we put her into the ambulance, and the whole time her face had like lost all its color by then. And I was stroking her face, it wasn't warm anymore, you know, it was cold. And I had seen that as we were getting to the hospital. The attendant lifted up his shirt to place the compact on the wound. And you saw her whole side just torn apart. I mean, mangled and soaked in blood, and her shirt was ripped up and soaked in blood. And little balls of flesh on the floor. And on her arm that was sticking to her shirt. And I got like a last look, you know, as we were pulling in, and I saw Allison's eyes roll back. and her arm fell off her chest, and it just hung limply. And then, just at that instant, like I had just seen it, and then they opened the doors and they grabbed her and they said, "Let's get this one, she's still breathing." And they pushed her away and they took her out and wheeled her into the hospital. And she had died at that instant, but I hadn't known it, or I hadn't wanted to know it. And I went into the waiting room and waited. And I wondered if she'd get out that afternoon. And I never imagined what was really inside her. Little fragments of bullet that tore apart her heart and her spleen and her lungs, part of her stomach, a duodenum. And I mean, they just tore out all of her insides. And it was one little goddamn bullet. Tore her apart. I was just so scared. I thought about how we could go maybe live in Canada and get out of the school and get out of the system that was making us stand in front of men with rifles and then get shot at and killed. I don't know. She died doing something that was part of her. I mean, that was the only way she could have died.
When did Carmine go on? That one? He went on all of them. You went on all of them? You want to go on the high one? The real high one? Can you spin around like Carmine? Huh? Oh. Okay, pick up on this. I want to go on this one, Marina. How Carmine go around? Show me how Carmine went around.
He flipped. I sent my brother a dog and now stuffed dog. With white and black.
Why'd you send him a dog?
To keep him company. To remind him of Toby and all that.
What kind of dreams do you have?
Dreams about Mace when he's home, and I have dreams when I'm in Vietnam, and this is Mace. Mace is shooting the plane, and that's a Jeep. And some paratroopers, and electric fence, and the guy's touching it. This is the tree with the plane that crashed, and here's a guy hiding behind the bush. And he's shooting him. If they stay, I want to go in the army. And fight.
Why do you want to fight?
For our country.
I have to register next month. 16 days.
Huh?
I have to register in 16 days.
After your birthday?
Oh, that's right. Your birthday's March 13th.
Well, I hope you're lucky and have a high number.
Third. Very much Mr. 13. I'm sorry. I got mixed
I
up
hope you're
with
lucky
two.
and have a high number. Because any kid that goes over there to fight, he comes back completely changed. Every one of those 500,000 kids that came back are altogether different. I don't care who they are.
I know they are.
They're not the same as a kid that came back from World War II or maybe even the Korean War. This thing has been so rotten and corrupt. They're exposed to so much vice. It's terrible.
Oh, well, I hear about that, Allison.
Well, she told you, right, Alan?
Alan, yeah.
About,
Terrible.
about Bernie?
Yeah, but they don't let you know anything. They cover up a lot of things. And I feel, you know.
They don't want to talk about things, you know. Try to forget, like they want to let you forget about, us forget about Carmine, you know. He's just like a statistic. But you can't forget, right?
You can't forget it,
Never
right?
forget. Part of the family.
You go here, you see a boy with nice long hair, and he looks like Carmine.
Look at a young kid, and I think of my son.
You go to church, and I'm sitting there looking at a boy that must have come home, and
But a lot of politicians.
His little brothers and sisters were with
I
him.
wonder how many men in Washington have lost sons over there. I never see much in the paper. Have you?
Probably not.
I've never seen much in the paper. Maybe there's a couple. But I'm sure it's not a big percentage. Not a big percentage, believe me. No U-turn. Who's going to make a U-turn here?
Oh, there's a lot of people that do it too.
They check on the side.
Okay, as you're going in, they check the Canada. When you're coming back, they check on the U.S. Each country, they check at the country of entry. I found that out.
Hey, hon, I brought Carmine along.
You did his picture?
Yeah. I wanted to take him over with us. Yeah, his picture.
I got that one?
I couldn't leave him home. I just took it as I was leaving.
That's good.
I haven't got a good picture of him.
Canadian Customs and Immigration.
Yeah, this is where they check them.
And he wants to stop.
Oh, by that guy.
Nice looking man. Can we clear that there pylon?
Yeah, he got it.
There he is. Nice looking custom man. All right. Want to look at some real estate up around Belleville in Ontario. Yes.
Yeah?
All of us. No, we may return in a couple of days. We'll look around for some property. Thank you.
Yeah, nice, isn't it?
Yeah, where do we go through here now, around here?
Yeah, we got the lights, you know. Ontario. Yeah, straight, you have to go through there. That's the customs too. There's the sign, Ontario, welcome to Canadian flag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta go right this way. Yeah.
Ontario, welcome to you. The nice thing about Canada is if we ever lived there, the kids aren't drafted like their son was.
Will we be able to take Carmine's body with us if we move?
I guess so. It's
No, I'm
ours,
going to leave
right?
them behind.
It's ours. I don't know what the procedures are.
No. I don't know other than the bill, so we'll see. I want to see how we are when we get into town. You know, we go shopping and see how the stores are, see the prices.
Tomorrow the sun will be shining. Canadians will be greeting you with big salamis, sausages, French bread. Where'd you bought French bread? Right on the road, right, Angie? Huh? It's terrific.